Investors aren't the only ones cheerful about slowing inflation. Online retailers combing through today's Consumer Price Index report for any sign of a recovering consumer. Here with a look at digital commerce, consumer spending, and a look back at retail over the 2022 holiday season, Kristen Gold, Rakuten Rewards President. Kristen, great to have you on the show. So you've said that 2023, Rakuten is saying that this is going to be the year for the reset for retail. Are we talking to pre-pandemic levels?
I think what's going to happen is that we've had a very dramatic few years in retail. It's been really disturbing, I think, for both consumers and retailers to understand what's going on in the industry. 2023 is going to be what we consider to be a return to normalcy. Retailers have a decent amount of inventory, but aren't over-inventoried. Consumers are circumspect, but still spending. And I think what we're going to see is a little bit less drama and a little bit more of a flat line back to normal. Potentially not all the way back to pre-pandemic levels, because there is still looming recession, looming challenge in the economy. But I do think everything's going to calm down a little bit.
And consumers did spend over the holidays, not as much as retailers would have liked. How did Rakuten fare then if some of these retailers weren't doing as great?
Actually, on our platform, retailers fared very well. Consumers were really looking to cashback sites and to deal sites to gain a little bit of gain a little bit of momentum and gain a little bit of money back as they were shopping. So on our platform, retailers fared very well. And I think they were very pleased with their holiday season from our perspective. I think consumers actually spent more over Black Friday and Cyber Monday than the retailers anticipated. They spent more over the entire week of Black Friday than we've seen in the past. So we had a record week, which was really lovely to see given the volatility over the last few years.
And we know people have been looking for deals. I love Rakuten. I'm always looking for a coupon or a deal. So that was definitely the place that I started. We know that it was also a challenging year for margins. What are your expectations for 2023?
I think margin is going to be the word of the year for retail. Effectively, a lot of these retailers had so much inventory coming out of the holiday season in 2022. They spent the entire year trying to liquidate it. And many retailers, honestly, were still liquidating that inventory all the way through the holiday peak. And they were really using Black Friday and Cyber Monday to finally get rid of that last gasp of pandemic inventory. They're going to be very focused on margin this year because a lot of them had to hit margin significantly harder than they would have liked to. Even the big marketplaces had huge challenges with margin all the way through the year. So if you look at where they're going to gain momentum again, they do want top line sales, but also they want to return to profitability and health. And I anticipate that that will really be what the retail industry is looking at and looking for. And frankly, what investors and stockholders are looking for from these retail companies is just how do you get out of this discount death spiral and how do you return to a place of normalcy and a place of margin health?
And that can be hard. Once people get used to discounts, especially as they brace for a recession, it could be hard. So what are some of the consumer trends that you're watching for this year?
It's going to be an interesting year for consumers. I do think the month of January will be very promotional still because it is typically the last month of a retailer's fiscal year. So they do like to squeeze in a lot of the discounting before their fiscal year ends. There are a few things that we're watching, though. I think there's this interesting component of luxury still continues to boom. Consumers are still buying a lot in the luxury space, and that really hasn't cooled through the pandemic. I think that will continue. Marketplaces really have been dominant and continue to dominate over the Q4 time period. I think that will continue this year. There are interesting micro trends happening, though, things like resale and resale becoming more important to a consumer's portfolio, where they're more willing to engage with resale companies like ThredUp and The RealReal instead of buying new. That's something definitely to watch in terms of sort of micro areas for growth in the industry.
And I want to ask you about conversion optimization. A lot of things can stop a consumer from hitting that final buy button at the end of the day. What sort of investment are you seeing in that space?
I think that honestly is what so many of our retailers are focused on right now. It used to be all about customer acquisition, and it used to be all about going out and buying customers, looking at Meta and looking at Google and going out and doing a lot of acquisition. Now, acquisition is incredibly expensive. So you really turn your sites as a retailer to how do I retain the people that I have? How do I create the journey that is really easy, that allows them to navigate my website and check out easily? Conversion optimization exists all the way from when someone comes into a website all the way through checkout. And I know even on our platform, that's something that is so important to us this year, which is just how are you maximizing every step of a consumer's journey and making it really frictionless and easy to shop. I know that retailers will be focused on that this year just because it's so expensive to go out and acquire new customers. So why not use the ones that you have and provide something better to them so that they do more with you?
Exactly. Make it easier for us to spend our money. Don't have it not be free shipping when we get all the way to the end. I can't stand that. But a big thank you there to Kristen Gold, Rakuten Rewards President. Thank you for joining me this morning.